Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're jumping into a day trading strategy from a 16-year market veteran. And get this, it promises to cut right through all the usual noise by focusing on just one single thing.
You know that feeling, right? You pull up a trading chart, and it's just this chaotic mess of squiggly lines and flashing colors. It can be completely overwhelming, and honestly, it makes you wonder where to even start.
But what if the answer wasn't to add more stuff, more indicators, more analysis, more complexity? The strategy we're breaking down today says the exact opposite. The real key isn't piling on more information, but actually radically simplifying how you see the market.
So this slide pretty much gets to the heart of it. You know, the conventional wisdom says you have to align all these different time frames, the daily chart, the 4-hour, the 1-hour, all just to figure out what to do on the 5-minute chart. But that, well, it often leads to what they call analysis paralysis. Because let's be real, those charts almost never line up perfectly. So the solution here? Just ditch them. Focus only on the 5-minute chart for everything.
Okay, I know. That sounds kind of crazy, right? Why on earth would you ignore the bigger picture? Well, let's dive into the logic behind this super focused approach. And here it is. This is the whole reason for the strategy. You see, for a day trader, your entire world is what happens inside one trading day. A single, kind of boring red candle on the daily chart, it might look like nothing, just a minor dip. But if you zoom all the way into the 5-minute chart, that exact same price move can be a full-blown downtrend with tons of opportunities. The 5-minute chart is like the high-definition view of the game you're actually playing.
All right, this whole strategy is built on a really simple 3-part framework. And it all kicks off with the most basic question you can ask. Which way is the market moving right now?
This is your first job. You're not trying to be a fortune teller. You're just identifying what's happening in the present moment. Is the market making higher peaks and higher valleys, kind of like it's walking up a staircase? Well, that's an uptrend. Or is it stepping down with lower peaks and lower valleys? That's a downtrend. It's really that straightforward.
But of course, trends don't go on forever. So a huge part of this is learning how to spot when a trend is starting to run out of steam. You're on the lookout for reversal patterns. Things like a double top, where the price just can't seem to push to a new high, or the famous head and shoulders pattern. These are clues that the momentum is shifting.
So, on to part 2 of the framework, identify key levels. Now, once you know the direction, you don't just blindly jump in. No, you have to act more like a sniper. You wait patiently for the price to come to a very specific, very important area on your chart.
Think of these levels as historical landmarks on your chart. These are price zones where a huge battle between buyers and sellers happened before, and there's a really good chance they're going to react there again. Your job is to find these old battlegrounds.
And these levels, they come in 2 main flavors. You've got your classic support and resistance, the floors and ceilings that the price has bounced off of before. And then you have supply and demand zones. These are areas where you saw incredibly aggressive buying or selling that left a major footprint on the chart.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the most important part of this whole framework. Wait for confirmation. Honestly, this is the step that takes the most discipline. Just because the price hits your special level, that does not mean you smash the buy or sell button. You have to wait for proof.
What you're doing is looking for a clear signal that other traders see the exact same level you do and that they're acting on it. You're basically waiting for the market to show its hand and prove to you that your level is actually important right now.
And that proof, it often shows up in the actual shapes of the candlesticks. Are you seeing candles with these really long tails or wicks? That shows the price tried to break a level but got forcefully pushed back. Or are you seeing a big, strong, solid-colored bar? That shows a sudden surge of conviction. These are your final green lights to go.
Okay, theory is great and all, but let's see how this actually works when there's real money on the line. We're going to walk through one single trade where our source used this exact framework. And the result of that one trade, just by following this simple process, was a profit of $4,136.
So here's exactly how those 3 parts click together for this trade. First, direction. The chart was in a clear uptrend. Second, key level. He spotted a previous low that was a natural spot for support. And third, confirmation. He was patient, he waited, and he watched the chart prove that buyers were actually stepping in to defend that level. It was only when all 3 of those things lined up that he executed the trade.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, it's that you can boil this entire strategy down into a simple, repeatable checklist you can use before every single trade.
Before you even think about placing an order, just ask yourself these 3 questions. 1. What's the trend? 2. Where's the level? And 3. What's my signal? If you don't have a crystal clear answer for all 3 of them, you just stand aside. Simple as that. There is no trade.
The trader's final piece of advice really just drives this whole point home. Making money in the markets isn't about having the most complicated system out there. It's about having a clear picture, a simple process, and the discipline to actually stick to it.
You know, this idea of radical simplification goes way beyond trading charts. It really leaves us with a powerful question to think about in our own lives. Whether it's your fitness, your business, or learning a new skill, what is the one core thing you could focus on that would cut through all the complexity and get you better results?